First impressions always count. It's John, it's Marketing for Owners. I'm in someone else's garden. That's why it looks a bit different and a little bit prettier than mine. That's why you might be able to hear some car noise in the background, so I'm sorry about that, nothing can do. But there's a freeway or a dual carriageway runs near this house. Nice garden though. So, episode 224, Thursday, October, so day, not bad. But I'm talking about first impressions. These are always going to count. You only get one chance. I've said it before and I'm going to say it again. How do you make sure your first impression is a good one? Also, for your business or for your brand, have you told everyone else about this? So what first impression do they give? For example, I used to go, when I come back through London on the train, I go through St Pancras station. I got a lovely Des Vins wine bar in there. But it's annoying because they had this system where you couldn't, you have to go and choose your table, find the number, then go and queue up at a bar, order your drink, and then go and sit down. Meanwhile, if you're on your own, you had no idea that someone had already got that number, and so then you go back and someone's sitting there or with their friend who's just come in, and you say, oh, excuse me, that's my table. So my first impression of that place is how annoying the system is. And the funny thing is, the place beyond that is great, but every single time that is my first impression, is that. How annoying, why would they do that? Fortunately, there isn't any alternative around it, so I still go there. And recently I went, and they've changed it to, because the food and the drinks are brought out by waiters and servers, and they've now gone to a traditional service, and fabulous. I actually thanked them and gave them a bigger tip because of that. But I've been into restaurants before, and I will compare them to the best recent experience I've had. Some of them seem to have no idea, no clue on how to greet at the door of a restaurant. I don't need to be overly late. I just need to be greeted. I don't like wait to be seated where lots of people are walking around and no one comes to see you. First impression is they don't particularly care about customers. Now, I may be wrong, they may be busy, but it doesn't matter. That's what I thought. My brain is tarnished with that forever. And this is the way it is with your service. If you are a plumber and you turn up at premises in scruffy jeans, scruffy outfit, now you can say, well, the last job I was on was filthy. But when the person answers their door, they're thinking, you're coming in my house, my lovely clean house. Now you can take your shoes off, but that's all they see. Why wouldn't you have a nice uniform? Why wouldn't you have overalls? Why wouldn't you have spare overalls in case you got dirty? Do you think to yourself, why should I bother? It's only a bit of dirt. It's their house, they're the customer, it's their impression. You need to make it count. And another thing I've always say is give people the opinion you want them to have. People, so if I told you that I'm a Facebook marketing expert, if I say, hi, John here, I'm well known as one of the UK's leading Facebook marketing experts. I'm just going to point out I'm not, but most of you would instantly assume I'm a Facebook marketing expert. You wouldn't go and look this up on Google. You'd just assume, why on earth would I say that? That's the impression. So please don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying that you should tell porky pies or tell fibs or lie about it. You must be able to back up what you promise. So if you are that plumber, you look at yourself and you think, oh gosh, this is terrible. I'll put on my spare clothing. A lot of plumbers, of course, are thinking, oh yeah, how many sets do I have to have? Do I have to have 5? Why not? Up to you, at least one. Put on my clean clothes and I go along, make sure I've got my name badge on, make sure I've got my clipboard, let me go and introduce myself first. That person, when they answer the door, is thinking, wow, never seen a plumber looking this smart. When she remembers needs a plumber next time, yeah, who's she going to call? Think about it. You are giving the impression you want. You are looking professional. Doesn't matter if you're a better plumber, a worse plumber, if you haven't got half the tools. It doesn't matter. It was the first impression. There are many. This is why advertisers do it. I'm not going to discuss anything about Volkswagen right now because they've been in the news, but take BMW and Mercedes. They give you the impression they want you to have. So if you said, what's the difference between, for instance, a Volkswagen and a Mercedes? And you'd say, well, Mercedes is better quality. Or you might say Mercedes is more expensive. But you're going to assume generally that Mercedes is more luxurious. And that's because they've made you have that thought. You think that. In America, you have the Acura, which is the posh Honda. We don't have that in the UK, but made in the same factories probably, same company. What do they do on the better one that they don't do in the other? Do they leave off some nuts and bolts, or not tighten the screws up as much, or use rusty metal in the ordinary Hondas and then use the good stuff in the Acura? No, you think, and you're prepared to pay more money. They make much more profit because they've told you this is the luxury brand. You aspire to the luxury version of the Honda you've always loved, and eventually you get one and you're very pleased with yourself. They've given you that. They've given that first impression. Now, when you get that car, it has to be just so. If it wasn't, that's it, blown. As long as they back it up, you're going to think, this is great. Wow, this is great. And they never break down. You've only had it 5 minutes, but that's what you think. This can apply to your hotel, your store, your telephone service, your e-commerce website, absolutely anything. Your garage workshop. Have you ever considered what people can see in your garage workshop or in your tire shop? When they look through, what do you think people think? Gosh, that's dirty. And you're going to say, well, of course it's dirty. We're full of mechanics. But have you ever gone in a nice new dealership and looked at their engine workshops? Why aren't theirs as dirty as yours? They got mechanics. You're just making excuses. But people have already got the first impression and they just assume you're cheap and you're scruffy and you're not quite as good as the others, but hey, they want to save some money, so they'll give it a go. Is that what you want them to think? Just saying. Anyway, it's Thursday, time for a Drive Time podcast. And today, this is my Australian mate, James Schramko. And that's spelled Schramko. But if you Google something that sounds phonetically like James Schramko, Google is dead clever, it will find him. Now, James's business and his podcast are called Superfast Business, and that's the way he is. He is a lovely bloke. He's in Sydney, in Manly in Sydney, and he records more than one podcast, so just try his main one first. But look at his websites. If you ever wanted to know how to become an internet marketer, James is one of the very, very best. And of all the internet marketers out there, he's also one of the most genuine and honest. So I know for a fact that he actually does practice what he preaches, and he does, if he ever mentions how much money he makes, he does actually make that money. He had a very substantial business just with himself and his wife planning things off his kitchen table. But the way James works is he's very quick. He calls it super fast business. He's very, very fast to take action. And that's why he's always going to win. But he's nice, ordinary guy. He loves Mercedes, used to run a bunch of dealerships, I think. And so see what he has to say. So go to iTunes, look up Super Fast Business, James Schramko, check out his websites, listen, subscribe, give him a wonderful rating, tell him what you think. While you're on it, look up the Marketing for Owners podcast and find that. And if you'd like to give a rating, then go back to the website and look up marketingforowners.com/free book, because we got a little gift for you making the effort. Go see what it's all about. I'll see you tomorrow.